Holy week one. Welcome back to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm Ethan, joined by Josh and Ryan today. Um, as you texted us today, Josh, holy hell, week one.
It is week
Yep.
one, everybody, and finally we've all made it. Long time coming.
Yep. This is what dreams are made of. Week one NFL
Yeah.
Absolutely.
football.
Yeah. Excited to get it started. Get this year going.
Yeah.
Really am.
Now all of our
Well, two of us are, Josh.
look,
Not
man.
to single anybody out.
Unfortunately, it is in a drawer that I cannot easily access.
Guys.
Also, I need to update because my latest jersey is a old Reebok Ray Lewis jersey, so I'm gonna need to
Well,
actually do some
well,
updating.
if you can't tell, me and Ryan need to update too, because
Yeah.
not can let dead dogs die. He's wearing Dalvin Cook. I'm wearing Calvin Ridley. Um, so which is a quick little foreshadow for the episode. But Josh, we have a little bit of news
Yeah,
before John's.
yeah, so well, a lot of our news here, instead of hypothesizing, starting to get very real. So let's start with Jonathan Taylor because that's kind of been our main discussion. The deadline passed, he did not get traded. However, probably the most interesting news out of it was the second mystery team that was trying to trade for Jonathan Taylor, that being the Green Bay Packers. So I wanted to bring this up to you guys.
All is not well in Wisconsin.
I mean, it might be good for for Jonathan Taylor considering he is a Wisconsin Badger through and through.
Ooh.
But I do want to bring up something. It's from a Reddit thread, so take that what you will. But Jacob Duran actually sent me this, and apparently Aaron Jones bought a house in Miami, and
Interesting.
don't know what to take of it. Besides the fact that nothing's like set in stone. Besides the fact that Aaron Jones did take a pay cut this year to stay with the Packers. And not only that, if I'm Miami, I can't get JT. Aaron Jones might actually be a
No,
pretty good consolation prize.
no, it's
I
not.
don't I just because he would fit the scheme, like he would fit the scheme pretty well and would be a better pass catcher than Mostert or A Chain or Jeff Wilson. But I
Josh, Aaron Jones is a 15 in blackjack.
first off, sir, that is an incredible reference. So as much as I don't know where to even argue with you on that point, but
Yeah,
I applaud the analogy.
that's what he is. That's what he is. Like you don't know if you want to hit that or not. Like you don't know if you want that on your team or not. I don't want Aaron Jones. I don't know how he makes Miami better. Like you have Mostert.
Yeah.
Mostert knows the offense. You have Achane, who looked pretty good, or Akane, or Akaney, whatever his name is. Um,
Oh boy, is
I
this
don't
And you
know.
still got
complicated
Jeff
one.
Wilson. You still
Well,
got Jeff Wilson on the team too.
you say that, but Jeff Wilson's already on IR,
Yeah,
basically
yeah,
going.
we
Yeah.
know he's down for right now, but Jeff
Yeah,
always bounces back. But I
Mhm.
think you want a clear upgrade. And I don't think Aaron Jones is really a clear upgrade over the duo that they're going to have all season long
you know what?
at this point in his
That's
career.
fair. That you know what? I'll give you that. I think that's fair. Like I definitely think JT is that clear and obvious upgrade.
Right.
Yeah.
What do y'all make of Green Bay trying like looking into this trade? Because that's the thing I find the most interesting.
Yeah.
Green
I
Bay
Because
looking into the JT trade.
yeah,
I'm I don't
JT makes
know. I don't
sense.
know about that. It doesn't really make sense to me. They've got two good running backs, although,
But here's
both of
what
them are kind of aging. They've
here
been in the league for a couple of years.
really
But
quick on that, Ryan. Really quick note on that. When you can make an upgrade, you make an upgrade. That's like
yeah,
what
yeah,
happened with
I
Deshaun
understand that.
Watson. Like you have Matt Ryan in Atlanta, but it's a generational talent. So sorry to interrupt, but
I
just
mean,
to
but
out on
that's
that.
even what
No, that's about what I wanted to say. That's it. So you're good.
the reason why I think the J like if JT to Green Bay is actually legit, why I find that so interesting is because I'm pretty sure AJ Dillon is either on the last year of his deal. He was a second round pick, so he doesn't have the fifth year option to even like consider. So it's like,
Mhm.
ooh, so that's how Green Bay feels about Quadzilla. And then on top of that, we already know Aaron Jones is kind of on the like the out and outs. just because of the pay restructure and like this is kind of like
Well,
their last shot, and even with the transition to Jordan Love.
yeah.
So that's the only thing I find interesting. If it, since they didn't get done now, if Green Bay's in the playoff contending mode, I can see the move being happening. And if I'm the Colts, that's probably my best bet because that takes them out
Yeah.
of the conference entirely.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't know.
So,
I think if he gets moved, it'll be to Miami. I just wish we got a little sneak peek on what the trade compensation was trying to be.
well, so I do want to get to that. It has
Because
been
Miami said they
reported
weren't even close.
it's because apparently the Colts were asking for Jalen Waddle and a pick
Yeah,
just for JT. And if that's
which
the
that's
case,
insane.
yeah, look, I think I can be entertained with a straight up trade of Waddle for JT. I wouldn't do it, but I was like,
In
that's
in
not,
fantasy,
yeah, that's
in
not so,
fantasy
that's no so
football,
crazy. It's not so crazy. But if you're going to ask for a Waddle and a high pick for Jonathan Taylor,
and
and
not in
then not
fantasy, in the NFL,
exactly like, guys,
they're insane.
does that trade even make it through the Madden trade
That's
simulator?
yeah, no.
No,
You don't
yeah,
even
no,
find that
not
on
at all.
Trade Finder or whatever that website is.
No.
That's awful. That Tyler always uses.
I'm sorry, Roto World. You deserve it. But
Ouch.
Oh yeah, Roto World. That's what it is. That doesn't even make it through Roto World.
yeah, that doesn't. And so my issue with asking for that is like the Colts were just never like they were just completely disingenuous with Jonathan Taylor. And now like if
Yeah.
you're Jonathan Taylor, it's like, look, I don't want to play for you because you've outright said you're not paying me. So what's the point of me playing for you? And
Well, dude, I
then
don't understand. What's the game? Like, what's the
like
game?
what are the Colts doing? That's my
Yeah.
question. Because it just doesn't make sense anymore.
No, it makes no sense whatsoever because you're um, like just be thankful you get a chance to play. It's almost like they want them to sub or him to submit to them, but it's like, dude, that's not how this works. Like, you don't just force people to do something they don't want to do. Like, you treat people with respect, and
Yeah.
then try and do this move like, oh yeah, like we'll respect your wishes. Go find a trade. Here's your deadline. And then you find a trade partner, and then they ask for the sun and stars, and it's like, okay,
Well,
well, you
yeah.
didn't grab to begin with. So thanks for making
Well,
that.
that's I think why they asked for, like you said, the sun and stars. I think they asked that. They just allowed him to appease JT. They allowed him to seek a trade. And when they got a decent, proposal back, they were like, no, no, because we can't trade him away. We don't want to trade him away. So we're going to ask for something ridiculous. So they're
Yeah,
not
and how can
even
you say we
going
want
to accept
something
it.
equivalent of a first round pick? And I'm sure they came back with like two number twos or like maybe a one and like a late round pick. I'm
Mhm.
sure that they would have come to something like that. But when your first offer is give us Waddle and a pick, and I'm sure they asked for a first or a second,
Yeah.
obviously they're going to say no,
Yeah.
negotiations are over.
Yeah.
There's no middle ground there. There's no middle ground there that you
So
can find.
so now with that information, I've hit the point where it's like, oh, you're gonna get lowball to death come midseason,
Mm-hmm.
and you better accept that, or he's walking away for free. And then when
He's
he
not going to
runs
talk.
for 260 on the Colts in the coming years, you better look straight at Jim Irsay and be like, why did you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So
'cause
Yeah.
he's not even going to take a meeting with them at this point. Like,
yeah,
there's no way.
no, it like the bridge has been burned, incinerated, and sent to the eighth layer of hell.
Yeah.
And not really a good transition, but as far as contract negotiations, we have, so we don't necessarily do this in fantasy. We talk about defenses or specifically defensive players. But there's three people we want to talk about because they do provide massive impact for their defenses, and I think this actually can shift things within fantasy. So the first is so Nick Bosa, Chris Jones, and now Chandler Jones out of nowhere.
Well, don't
Uh
forget about Brian Burns.
oh yeah, Brian Burns.
Yeah.
So
He
now
might
the
not play on Sunday.
so now the question is what's who
That's
if
interesting.
who leaves the biggest impact if they don't play.
Well, all of them do.
I mean, for week
I mean,
one,
I
all
understand.
of them
Like,
do. But for week one,
yeah,
it's Brian Burns. If Brian Burns isn't on that defense against the Falcons, with how explosive they look, boy.
My answer is Chris Jones, because Chris
I
Jones
mean,
is
yeah,
arguably
overall,
Chris
yeah.
Jones is arguably the best D tackle in the game. He's also said that he is prepared to
Yeah, set out
literally,
to week 8. He
yeah,
yeah,
till
said.
week 8.
he's prepared. Yeah, he's prepared to hold out.
He
Yeah,
said
and
those boys don't need me, and then they lost Kelsey. So I don't know how he's feeling about that statement now.
yeah, so now, and the big thing is that team is different without Chris Jones. Like different, and there's no one to depth, like no one to like even quantify the impact on that team. And those Kansas City defenses always take time to adjust and to like kind of get in the groove. And so now I see it as like if you can start running on the Chiefs and keep Mahomes on the sideline, that
See ya.
changes things up dramatically.
Yeah, see ya.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I mean, let's stick to the Chiefs. We just get news today, and I will tell you guys, I am dead inside.
Yeah, perfect transition to that whole Kelsey thing, huh?
Yeah. Travis Kelsey hyperextended his knee.
It
The
is not an
latest,
ACL.
not in ACL, according to
Yeah, they
Adam
confirmed it
Schefter.
this afternoon.
Thank goodness, because I was going to cry if it was like something really bad. But
I almost,
Extending your knee,
I almost flipped the table when I found out
not
that
fun.
that he was injured during practice. I was so upset because I traded for him this summer, thinking, okay, I'm going to get rid of, I think it was Najee and somebody else for him.
Oh, that's in my
And
league, isn't it?
yeah, it's in your league. Yeah. And when I found out, I was like, are you flipping kidding me? The one time I don't have Kelsey in any of my leagues other than this one, and I
Brian,
traded for him.
Brian, I hope
And like the one time I go for Kelsey in the last like forever, he gets injured. And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me?
Brian,
Thank the Lord he's not injured.
I hope it hurts.
At least bad.
I
So.
I will tell you, I sent y'all the from the meme from Sleeper's Instagram account
Yeah.
of Very Odd Parents.
Yeah.
That's how I feel.
I'd show you my backup tight end if
Yeah.
I had one.
If I had
I
one.
am literally about to put money where my mouth is because I will tell you, I am starting Chigo Conquo on Thursday because
Let's go.
I don't think
Oh.
Kelsey plays Thursday.
Fat dubs only. Give me the
Look,
chick.
If
I don't even
Okonkwo
know.
scores,
I don't even know who my backup is.
I don't know. I
it's-
have them in the ESPN league grind, so I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Oh,
I don't
man.
remember if I kept Pitts or not. I might have
he
kept Pitts.
literally Travis Kelsey was like the most sure thing you can have in fantasy, and now the one thing
And then
that
the gods took that away.
yeah,
Yep,
the football
of
gods
course.
are very cruel this time
This
of
Are
year.
very
for this
cool.
year is already brutal.
Yeah, it has been very brutal. That's for sure.
Speaking of the script, are we ready for dream lineups?
Not dream lineups.
No,
No,
not dream
yet.
lineups yet.
We got one more thing to talk about, and that is going to be our wide receiver tier list.
Oh,
So this is our last
Yeah.
position group to go through. We've gone through quarterbacks, we've gone through tight ends, and now the running backs was last week. Now we're going into wide receivers, and I expect us to have crazy,
All right.
crazy.
I just want
volatility
to put a tag on this. This was the hardest of these lists to
Easily
do
the
out
hardest.
of everything. And it was so difficult figuring out who was going to be in each tier. And I know I have some biases in this, and I have predictions that either bring up people or lower them down the list. And I know our lists are going to be vastly different. So just a preface on this whole list.
Yeah.
So,
honestly, especially like for some of the other lineups where it's like I have this person here, and it's like, whoa, okay, how do you have them way higher than I do? Here, I'm not even gonna say it. I totally understand what
Yeah,
y'all are thinking in this situation. It's just this was extremely difficult,
Yeah.
yeah.
and
And I
this
have,
is going to be an interesting one. I literally
yeah.
made a third tier in between one and two, tier one and tier two of players. I'm like, you're good enough to be in tier one, but I have too many people, and you're too good to be in tier two.
Oh man. See, I wish
So
I would have thought of that because I just have a tier three. Honestly, I have a list of players that I didn't actually list out in like order,
yeah.
but I was like, these guys deserve to be on at least the wide receiver two list. But
So
we only have 12.
yeah. So
So
you know what? Let's do it by grouping then. So let's start with our first four receivers of tier one. Uh, so Ryan, Ethan, y'all want to start this off?
Yes, Ryan.
yeah.
All right, Ryan, who's your
Okay.
top four?
JJ,
Okay,
Jamar Chase,
okay.
Tyreek Hill, and CD Lamb.
Ooh, okay. I like that. E, who you got?
No, I have the exact same.
The exact
JJ,
same?
Ari
Oh,
Kill.
Hey, look
okay.
at that. Look at that, Ethan.
Mine is Jamar Chase, Justin
Boo.
Jefferson,
Boo.
Devontae Adams,
Boo.
AJ Brown.
Oh, boo. Devontae Adams? That high up? Explain that.
Josh, we lost you, bud.
Yeah, we lost you. Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one that realized that.
Well, yeah, you weren't gonna say anything though. You're just sitting
Oh,
here trying
God.
to read lips.
Well, I'm sitting
We
here
need
and
to
I'm
get the
like,
champ in the
I'm
background.
testing. I'm
No, we need to
testing
get the
my
champ in the
ears right now.
background doing sign language for us. Nope, Josh is dead.
Josh
Josh,
can't even see us. Oh, my God.
hi, Josh.
I'm glad I'm not the only one. I was freaking out. I was like, what just happened? Why can't we hear him?
Because he died.
I'm glad you spoke up. I would have been silent the whole time.
Dead. The Josh was
Oh
too
my
stunned to
gosh.
speak. See, honestly, no, this is what happens when you have a trash lineup. You
Can you
you
hear me
get
now?
canceled. Yes, we
Can you hear
Yeah,
can.
me?
this is
Okay.
yeah.
The
So,
You
gods
as
take
soon
away
as
your
you
ability to
started,
speak. You just got put in timeout, Josh.
yeah, as
okay,
soon
you
as you
know what?
started talking about Devonte Adams,
I I
it
re-
went silent.
I respect fate here, and I actually will take Devontae Adams out
Thank you.
and put in
I
Tyreek
want to
Hill.
hear I want to hear your explanation though.
No, there
Okay,
is no
no.
explanation.
So here's
That's
so
the thing, Ryan. There is no explanation.
so honestly,
Jimmy
here is
Garoppolo?
my only defense. My only defense of this was I will believe in him until the wheels fall off because he's just been that guy.
Yeah.
However, there is now with everything going on, there is a better argument for Tyreek Hill to be in that top four, and I'm going to
Yeah.
stick to Tyreek Hill being in that top four.
I'm gonna ride Tua till I die. Or
Yeah,
until he dies
and
again.
and and
Oh
I
God.
and I have more faith in AJ Brown, especially since I think Philly's going to have to pass the ball more. I do have some serious issues with the run game.
Well, that's why I
That
like Goddard. Man. I really like Goddard.
Yeah, that's where I
Okay.
definitely think the
Yeah.
passing work. Like Hertz is going to earn his money passing the ball, which is why I kept AJ Brown in there.
Okay.
So you know what? I'm going to agree with everyone else here. I think Devontae Adams is not in my top four.
Yeah, before your power
Okay.
goes.
Yeah, before the power goes out. Let's start. All right, you want to give out the next four, Ryan?
Yeah.
Yes. Stephon Diggs,
Okay.
Garrett Wilson,
Ooh.
AJ Brown,
Mm-hmm.
and Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Okay.
Ooh. Okay. Okay.
I
Okay.
like I like Diggs where he's at. He's the favored wide receiver in Buffalo. I I think him and Garrett Wilson, I could flip flop if I needed to, because I think they're kind of on the same level. They've got a good level of talent. They've got great opportunity where they're at. Great quarterbacks throwing to them. AJ Brown, I have him a little lower than what you have him at. I still think that talent's there, and he showed last year that you know he's the guy there. And then Amon Ra, uh, Jamison Williams is not going to be there for the first 6 games, so I he's the guy there in Detroit, and they're going to be needing to pass the ball a lot because their defense is just horrible. I'm hoping it steps up, but their defense was horrible last year. So
Yeah.
that's why.
Okay. Ethan, who you got?
I had AJ Brown at 5.
Okay.
I have Sun God at 6.
Okay.
I really like Sun God this year. 7 I have Diggs, and then 8 I have Cup.
Ooh.
Cup.
The news in the last week about Cup took him out of my top 12 entirely.
Yeah, I know
Interesting.
got a little
Okay.
hamstring thing, but it's Cooper Cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's my 4. As I'm hearing everything. I'm like, good point. All right, change lineup here. So I got Stephon Diggs at 5, Jalen Waddle at 6, CeeDee
Oh,
Lamb at 7, and Amon-Ra St. Brown at 8.
Okay.
CeeDee Lamb at
Okay.
7 is wild.
Yeah, that's wild. I think Jalen Waddle at 6 is wild because I mean having two top 6 wide receivers on
Yeah,
the
it's
same
insane.
offense.
It's insane. It really is insane. So like with these 4, if you put them in any order, I'm okay with it. The reason why I have Waddle, I'll give it this way. Diggs, I think, still gets the volume to where he's 5 no matter what. Waddle, I think, gets more touchdowns this year, which is why I have him over CD. And CD, because he is the main guy with the Cowboys, and I do think his depth of like target is going to be bigger because that's what Brian Schottenheimer brings as an offensive coordinator. Is why I think he's going to get more chunk plays, and I think he's going to be kind of the only option there. With Amon-Ra St. Brown, do I don't know if he gets touchdowns. That's been my only gripe because whenever they've gotten to the red zone, they have shown time and time again it's either going to be Jamal Williams. I expect Montgomery to do the same. And I wonder how Jahmyr Gibbs is going to take a lot of the underneath work, which is where Amon-Ra St. Brown really flourished. So that's kind of, and it's like razor thin there. So that's kind of how I ordered it. If you told me CD was better than Jalen Waddle, I'm not worried about it. With Miami's offense the way it is, I am thinking that they are going to have to throw the ball to stay in contention. Like we have to remember that their big star acquisition of Jalen Ramsey, he's out for 6 to 8 weeks at least. So who they have a corner there, that your running backs are kind of going off, like either Jeff Wilson and A Chain. Now you have Mozart, who we've known Mozart to have the bone density of like a toothpick. So because
Get a
of
lot
that, because of that, I do expect it's going to be all on Tua and Tyreek Hill and Waddle to get it done. And I do think that that's just how it's going to be. So I think it's born out of necessity. If a JT trade comes into play, then I'm taking Waddle way down the list. But for the time being, and with the current pieces around, I think they're going to have to use Waddle in more creative ways.
Okay.
It does seem
I can see that
too much.
argument. I can
Yeah.
see that argument, but I don't necessarily agree, and that's all right
I th- I th-
because
I think
again,
it's
this is our
fair.
individual, lineups. So
it's very fair to disagree. I might disagree with it after seeing the first week of games. So we'll have to just see it from that point. But that's
Moving on.
just like if you put a gun to my head, here's how I'm feeling.
Moving on.
Yeah. So moving on, is it
Last four.
Last
the
four.
last four? Okay. So my last four are Devontae Adams, Cooper Kupp, Chris Olave, and Jalen Waddle.
Ah,
So those are my four. Devontae Adams, like you said, he's still got that top level of talent. The only thing that dropped him down to 9 for me was Jimmy G. Jimmy G's throwing him the ball. I don't like him, and
Exactly.
I just don't like it. Cooper Kupp, hamstring issues. It's probably going to limit him if it continues through the first couple of weeks. And we've seen hamstring issues hurt a fantasy wide receiver's
I know Julio Jones still put up a couple
chances.
100-yard
I
games.
know,
yeah.
yeah,
But
but
remember, Julio's an
he was
alien.
still limited
He wasn't in
through.
Tennessee.
I know,
Yeah,
but
that's because he was exposed.
but yeah. So Cooper Kupp, I just feel like this injury might limit him a little bit. I still keep him in my top 12 because, again, like Devontae Adams, he's a freak and his quarterback loves him. So that's why I kept him at 10.
Whoa.
Chris Olave. What? Whoa. Um,
Just the way you said he's a freak and his quarterback loves
he's a
him.
freak.
That's just a big
Yeah.
whoa for me.
Yeah. Whoa.
Yeah,
Of course.
Quick pause.
So Chris Olave, I have at 11. I think having Derek Carr throw him the ball is just that much better than
It's
Jameson.
huge.
Or no. Yeah.
It's
yeah.
huge.
Jameis Winston. So I think Jalen Waddle, I'm high on him. That's why I put a wide receiver 2 in my top 12, but I'm not that high on him. I don't think that he needs to be higher than that just because Tyreek Hill is the number one and he's going to take targets away. Obviously, there's enough to feed both of them, but I don't think a high number one.
That's fair.
Or high wide receiver one.
So nine for me was Garrett Wilson.
Okay.
I think he could be a sneaky climber though, but no football has been played. So it's like, yeah, Aaron Rodgers likes him, but that doesn't mean anything until you start playing football. So for him, he can be anywhere from like 9 to 3 for me. 10, I had Devontae Adams. 11, I have Chris Godwin. And 12, I have DJ Moore.
DJ Moore is not in my tier 1.
DJ Moore is not in my tier 1 or 2.
But that's because you guys smoke crack.
And Chris.
Well, he's all right.
And Chris Godwin is at the bottom of my tier 2 list.
So let me start with my. So
I have wants who the baker wants, Ryan.
That is true. So my 9 is Chris Olave. My 10 is Garrett Wilson. My 11 is Deebo Samuel, and my 12 is Devontae Adams.
Okay.
Josh, when will you learn not to believe in Deebo? When will you learn? How many years do you have to be burned?
Hey, to be honest with you, you know what's crazy? It wasn't that big of a burn last year. Yes, it wasn't the high level, but I tempered my expectations because he wasn't participating in training camp.
So but he was like what, a wide receiver like 20 something?
So here's the thing that I think we need to realize. Because of the Trey Lance trade, it's over. Like it's literally over. The questions are stopped right now. San Francisco has picked their guy, and it's Purdy. And with that, Purdy was actually doing good stuff with Deebo when they were on the field together. And on top of that, and especially near the end of the year, whenever Deebo was playing, like it was getting to the point where it's like, oh, Deebo's starting to look like himself again. The carries were still there. Even the catches, like, yes, it wasn't as much, but you're getting like more efficient targets because there's Kittle on the field, there's IU, there's CMC.
No, actually,
It,
Ryan, Debo was wide receiver 37 last year.
Yep.
and that's literally because the first few weeks were bad and then he got hurt. But when he was on the field, when he was 100%, it was getting to the point where it's like he was getting 17 to 24 points pretty easily, depending on if he scored a touchdown or not. I believe in Debo Samuel this year, largely because the positive touchdown progression I think is happening this year. And because IU got a lot of those early season touchdowns and then Kittle near the end of the year, which didn't leave much for Debo. But I do think that changes this year because Debo has been in full on training camp. He's getting those reps with Purdy,
I
unlike
mean,
last year.
last year it looks like he was getting you like 13 to 15 a game with an occasional spike into the 20s. And
I
by
see.
occasional,
Yeah.
I mean twice.
I see. So, let's even take it from here. 13 to 15 in a down year is not bad. So what happens when
Yeah.
when
He's a
like when it's
flex.
firing on all cylinders? That's why
But
I still believe
if he's a flex, but Debo, no one will consider him a flex. They consider him a wide receiver too.
they consider him wide receiver one. I can guarantee that based on how they paid him.
No, I'm talking about fantasy.
Oh, fantasy.
Yeah.
I only speak fantasy.
I see. I see.
Like
I
he's not a wide receiver one. He's a wide receiver two, but he plays like a flex.
I am fully confident in Debo Samuel this year. If he had more
Okay.
like training camp issues, I would agree with y'all.
You know what Josh
Okay,
said.
okay. Josh. Hot take.
Yes.
Where is Devo Samuel going to be at the end of this year? What
Dead.
what position is he going to be?
He's a wide receiver.
No, sorry.
Oh,
What
sorry. I
rank
see.
is he going to be in? As in wide receiver.
I think he's in the top 12. I really do believe it. I think his ceiling though is like
Okay.
8 or 9, but he's to me he's in the 8 to 13 range.
Okay.
Okay. All right, 8 to 13
There we have it.
range.
There we have it.
Hot take alert. Hot take alert.
Write it. Yep. Write
Let's
it
do
down
it.
in the notebook really quick,
Hey,
Josh.
I gotcha. I gotcha.
Are we ready for the good part?
Because I have been burned by Devo too many times, and I can't do it again.
But
I
like
can't. I don't
I
believe
just
in the
kind of
man.
want to dispel that narrative because, like, I mean, obviously, rookie year, obviously, it was kind of up and down. The second
Mhm.
year, he gets hurt. The third year, what Debo can be, wide receiver 2. And
Yeah.
then last year, wide receiver 37, yeah, but contract and everything so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about the QB run game at all now that Purdy's gone. So you don't have to worry about that. And the ball is going to get distributed, whether he is going to run the ball or catch the ball. That's why I'm way higher on him than most people this year.
Okay.
Okay.
Dreamlabs, boys.
Not yet.
You,
No,
you
who
want to go?
else do we have? Who else
Do
do
you
we're
we
want
doing
to
have?
go?
wide
Do you
receiver
want to go?
too.
Do you want to go tier 2? Because
I mean,
Ryan
not
and I,
really.
Let's just do 6 and then 6, and then we'll just
I
call
am
it
cool
quits
with
there.
that. I am cool
Okay.
with that.
All right. You want me to list out my top 6?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. Cool. All right. So my top 6 in wide receiver 2: Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, Devontae Smith, Keenan Allen, and Calvin Ridley and Terry McLaurin. Those are my 6.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, I'm debating whether I want to switch mine up a little bit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. Like Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave for me, and probably I'm going back and forth on my last one because like I have Debo in there, like kind of in that mid tier 2 range, but I also have Drake London kind of in that mid tier 2
Yeah.
range.
Drake
I'm going back and forth in the mid tier 2 range.
Drake London is in my low tier 2 range. Oh man, dude.
I'll say
Honest,
Drake London for my last.
who?
It's
Drake London for
oh,
my last. For my sixth in the tier two.
Okay.
oh what was yours? What was yours again?
All of mine?
Yeah.
Scroll back up to it. All right, so Keenan Allen. Gotta scroll to it. Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley, Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave, and Drake London.
Okay. Okay.
Ugh.
Okay.
I want to put Keenan Allen in there too. I just don't
Yep.
know who to take out.
Whoever you want. We believe in you.
Oh, you know what? You know what? I feel pretty confident in saying this. Hold on. Okay.
All right. All right. Let's do it.
Devontae Smith. I'll put Cooper Cup in this category. Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf. I'm going to put Calvin Ridley. No, sorry, not DK. Sorry. Not Lockett. Keenan Allen in for Lockett.
Okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, sorry. I know. I was like, that doesn't sound right. Calvin Ridley, and
Yeah.
then George Pickens.
Ooh, Pickens. Yeah.
And
That's true. That's
I've
true.
debated George. That was my biggest debate for tier one was where does
No,
George Pickens belong in the top 12?
you can't argue Pickens for tier one yet. You
Yeah.
just
Yeah. No. There's no way he can get up there. Not with him and Deontay Johnson in that offense. There's not enough to feed both of them and make one of them a tier one.
Yeah, that was going to be my big like throw because I had Pickens as high as 7, but then
oh
I had to
okay.
like talk. I
Well,
had to talk myself down from it.
I think we just need to go into dream lineups because I don't even want to get into that bag of crazy.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, let's go into the last 7 or last 6.
yeah,
What for tier three?
Yeah, for tier 2.
Oh, for two. Okay, for tier two.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
I
because we
can
only
start it
did the
off
first
here.
6.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll
Yeah,
start
you
it
go
off
ahead.
here. So this is where I do have Tyler Lockett
Mhm.
in this category. Jahan Dotson, Terry McLaurin, Amari Cooper,
Mhm.
Drake London, and DJ Moore.
Okay.
Interesting. Lockett, DJ Moore, and Jahan Dotson are not in my wide receiver too.
Interesting.
Okay.
Interesting.
They would be if we allowed more than 12, but I have DK Metcalf, Drake London, Christian Watson, Chris Godwin, Christian Kirk, and DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, Watson is another one along with Pickens that I was like, I can
Yeah.
see as high as 7 and as low as 32.
It
Yeah.
all depends on how, with Watson, it all depends on how Love performs.
Yeah,
If he is the quarterback that Green Bay is going, yes, he's the next Aaron Rodgers, then yeah, Watson could be up there. But from the preseason, it did not look like that. I don't know. That's just me. And
I
I think that'll hinder Watson.
I think Love's looked a lot better than what I thought I was going to give him credit for. So
Yeah.
I am going to be a little bit higher on Love in that case. Obviously, there's going to be ups and downs, and that puts Christian Watson for me a little lower because I do think
Mm-hmm.
yes, Love's been playing a lot better, but there will be a valley, and that valley might get ugly.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So what do you have? E?
I have DK at
Okay.
7, followed by T Higgins, Debo, Christian Kirk. This is where it gets hard. I
Kirk
want
is a
to throw
good one.
Scary Terry in.
Yep. That's another issue I had.
Yeah.
No, I'll do Pickens and I'll do Judy. This is where Judy's gonna land after his injury.
Okay.
Uh,
So
the injury
can I
took
list off?
Judy off my
Oh,
board.
yeah. So I don't know if any one of you guys talked about this or mentioned him. What about Pittman?
Oh boy. Okay.
I mean, he's a tier 2 receiver in general. I don't know though. We'll see because that's all
With
I'm really.
Richardson?
Here is
Yeah.
a pretty sticky stat. Receivers have not done well with rookie quarterbacks. As far as like being getting into like a top 24, which is
Hmm.
I don't know. Garrett Wilson and Zach Wilson did okay
yeah, Wilson like but the
because
thing
that
is,
was technically Wilson's rookie year. I would say last year.
Well, yeah.
yeah,
Wilson and what? Mike White was there, right?
Yeah,
yeah,
He played a couple of games too.
yeah, and just literally, I mean, just kind of staring through it right now as far as our rookie quarterbacks, like I don't even see.
Mhm.
I mean, we can technically say Christian Kirk because last year was really Trevor Lawrence's first year, but even then, I mean, we're talking like the top San Francisco. Yeah, there's a lot of I don't knows like to this list. I just think, you know what, maybe with JT things might get easier for Richardson. Congrats to Jim Irsay for making it exponentially more difficult for Anthony Richardson to gel to the NFL, and
yep.
that's
Give him
going to
the
affect
award.
Michael Pittman,
Give him
and
Yep.
the award.
which sucks because Michael Pittman's in a contract year.
Yeah,
Yep.
I wouldn't
And
So,
be surprised if he left.
yeah, he might dip after this year. I would not be surprised, and I would not blame him for it.
so I want to bring up a couple more names. We don't have to talk about all of them, but these were guys that were near the low end of my wide receiver twos. I'd say I'd consider them like flex positions and deeper leagues, and even wide receiver two considerations based on matchups. But I've got let's see, Jerry Judy, Brandon Ayuk, Deontay Johnson. I, I feel bad bringing him down this low, but Mike Evans,
Well, I've
and
got him lower. Don't worry.
then Traylon Burks.
Ooh, oh boy. Um, I say the best. Oh, I don't even know who the best out of the
I know.
group.
And this is my thing on tier 2. Why I almost don't even want to talk about it because it's like there's so much up in the air. Like
Yeah,
any of these guys that we're talking about or disagree on could be.
any one of these guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, it could be right. Like, because this is your riser area. This is the guy who's on the waiver wire that becomes a tier 1 wide receiver, and you try and pick him up. Is what
this
we're
is
talking
Yeah,
about.
you're saying we're in the Travis Fulgham era.
Yeah,
I see.
but that's why like tier 2 wide receiver I think is so hard. Like you have your top guys, and then every other spot is up for a literal fist fight.
Yeah, this one's really tough, Ryan. Out of the group, I think the best is going to be Judy, and
yeah.
largely because
I think yeah,
Ayuk
there's
was super
potential there.
touched. Yeah, Ayuk was super touchdown dependent, and I get nervous about that. Coming from a wide receiver who is potentially the third or fourth option on the team, depending on how you look at it. Um, yeah, I do agree with you. Like the wide receiver two, like that specific tier, anything can happen. Like one injury can set you back 50 spots, or like I don't know.
Or you
We've
could just
seen
elevate and become somebody in one game, and then be the
exactly,
rest of the season.
exactly. Like you can almost like the wide receiver position is so volatile that to the point where it's like anyone can go off and anyone can be you can look at the end of season rankings like, oh wow, you did a lot better than I thought you did.
Right.
Which is
Yeah,
why like I actually want to I think the one thing we should add, this is a complete side note, but for our consistency grades, I actually want to follow it in season and do the average of the wide receiver position that week and see if players hit it or not. Just because it's like, it's almost like not are you
yeah.
smarter than the average fifth grader, but it's like, were you better than the average receiver that week?
Yeah. While
Yeah,
everyone else is watching Hard Knocks, we're going to be in season with the stats.
We shall.
there
Yeah.
you go.
Dream lineups, everybody.
Ryan,
Train lineups.
Ryan,
All right.
What?
Well,
Dream lineups is calling your
yes.
name.
So let's break it down. Our dream lineups. If you didn't see it last year, we are going to pick our best lineup for the week, and based on why you're listening to all these tier lists is because we follow our tier list for these lineups. So we haven't figured out what the winning prize is, but we are going to keep score
We know what
this
the
time.
losing prize is.
Yeah, let's not think about. Well, I won't think about
We've
it
been
because I
sending
won't
each other a
lose.
lot of punishment videos.
Oh
So
God, no,
No,
Ethan.
no. Yeah,
I
No, I
personally,
know. I know. One of them you sent was so inappropriate.
dude,
So
I
inappropriate.
personally like the one
I'm not going to do
where
that.
the winner has a kid and the loser has to raise it. That one was my
God,
favorite.
that's awful.
that's awful.
That one got
I,
thrown around, and I was just like, what kind
that
of evil?
both both of the Ashleys are going to kill you if that happens. Oh my gosh.
I don't make the rules.
Yeah, yeah.
But Ryan and I will enforce it.
We will enforce it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and go on with our dream lineup.
Yes.
QBs. Josh, what do you have?
My QB, because he literally has the best. He has the best. Literally, the best matchup is Lamar Jackson against Houston. Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
I could have been argued for Mahomes against Detroit, but with the Travis Kelce news, I'm like, ooh, I kind of want to stay away from
I
that.
like Detroit's defense though. That's
Yeah,
why I stayed away from Holmes.
that is true. It's just for like first game of the year is so interesting. Ravens have always had they a good for like week one. So I'm going to stick to that trend and pick Lamar here.
Okay, that's a understandable pick against that Houston defense.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going
I
match,
just I just have the reason I didn't pick him. I just have concerns.
Yeah,
Um, you know, they're not going to want to run him hard early in the season because they know they want to keep him fresh. They want to keep him, you know, they want to keep him for the playoffs pretty much. And they have uh, Dobbins fresh, ready to go. And they have a whole stable of running backs that are just raring and ready to go. I think once they get up on Houston, they're just going to let their running backs run. They're not
yeah,
going to want to.
and they
They're
kept
not going to want
four.
to let him go.
That's something I do want to
Yeah,
bring up. They kept four running backs this year.
yeah. So I think they're going to be rotating in and out. And yeah, I think Dobbins is going to have a good day. I just didn't know about Lamar. I think he's going to have a good day, but not like, I don't think he's going to have like a 30-plus game.
No, that's fair.
My
That's
guy,
fair.
and that's understandable though, because it's Lamar. I mean, he could do anything though.
Yeah.
I've got Mahomes. So I understand the concerns about the Detroit defense. It could be good, it could be bad. They made a lot of changes this offseason,
it could be
added a
worse.
lot of players, and again, it could be worse. So, I just think with that high powered offense that they're going up against, I think it could be a shootout. It
I
could
think
end
it's
up
going to
being
be
a
a fun
Thursday
game.
night.
It's
I
going to
think
be a
I think
fun
it
game.
could be a high scoring Thursday night game.
Well,
I'm going Mahomes because I know he's gonna walk away with at the very least 25 points.
yeah. I mean,
So
speaking of fun games, that's why I have Josh Allen. Like, I think Bills Jets week
Well
one
done
is
on the
gonna,
transition,
yeah,
Ethan. Well
yeah,
done.
thank you. I think that's going to be a fun game to watch. Like, the Jets have a good defense, but I think it's going to be a lot of points, a lot of just a really good game overall.
yeah,
Like those old school Chiefs and Rams games or something
yeah,
like. I think it's just going to be fun.
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I think that's another one of the games that I'm really looking forward to
Yeah.
watching.
Yes.
Oh,
And now that we have Sunday ticket, even though we had to sell our soul.
I know.
yeah,
I know.
really.
I know.
Though
All
I,
right.
I did watch Florida State whoop up on LSU
Oh
with
yeah.
Sunday ticket. I wish I didn't see that. or Colorado. Oh, that Colorado pissed me off. Let me
Yeah,
not get into
Colorado.
that.
What do you mean? We're Dion fans here.
Oh no, we
Yeah,
are.
we're Dion
He-
fans.
Here's you want to know what pissed me off, and I was texting.
So we'll talk about this after.
Yeah,
We don't need to talk about this on the podcast.
Anyway,
that is
Rabbit
fair,
trail.
but
Wide
Rabbit
we
receiver.
trail.
may have to talk about
Wide
Shador
receiver.
soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, wide receiver or
Yeah, wide receiver.
Running back.
Oh,
What is your
well,
running back one,
all right, running back.
Josh?
my
I jumped
running back one? I'm going to take into account Chris Jones is not playing. Give me Jameer Gibbs.
Ooh.
Jameer Gibbs. All right. All right. I think again, like it's a high powered offense, and they're going to be facing Mahomes, so they're going to be it's going to be a shootout. That's my prediction. So I think that's a really good pick.
Yeah, I can't fault it. I love Jameer. I'm excited. I'm excited to watch him play on Thursday too. I'm glad we get like a rookie that everyone's excited for the first
Yeah.
game.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Like the only other
For
game I
sure.
would wanna like watch on Thursday would have been the Falcons Panthers game. Like watching
Yeah.
Bijan would be fun.
Oh yeah, as far as
Yeah,
rookie is
I
concerned,
agree.
it's definitely the rookie running backs, given everything that's happened in the offseason.
Hmm. Yeah. So mine is Eckler. I think again it's going to be a high scoring game. The Chargers are facing the Dolphins, so he's pretty much their number one weapon on that offense, and I think they're going to be going to him constantly. So I think he's going to get plenty of touches.
Yeah, they better be like, you better earn that contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's on a contract here. Yeah, that's right. So
Ethan, who's your
he's
running
going to
back
be
one
eaten.
here?
I'm rocking with the church. You know, when my
Church of ETN.
when my GM says I want you to run for 1,600 yards, I'm gonna go ahead and believe him. So yeah, I'm going with Travis Etienne. Going up against Indianapolis. Uh, you know, speaking of defenses, just quickly, I don't think they really made very many upgrades, and they had an abysmal run defense last year. I think their offense is going to have a lot of issues without JT. And their stable of hoes back there, including Deion Jackson, I don't think is going to do anything. So yeah, I'm taking
my God.
ETN.
Look, I'm sorry.
Terrible.
I think that name might stick, to be honest with you.
Stable of hoes.
Yeah, Indian the stable of hoes.
It really
That's
is.
what it is. That's really what it is, though.
Especially, did y'all hear the latest running back who visited the Colts?
Mm-mm.
James Robinson.
Oh,
Oh gosh.
Oh man,
No.
I wish that.
back, too.
Yeah, I wish that man never tore his Achilles. All right, my running back too.
Jeez.
All right,
I am believing the hype. I'm going to believe it. It doesn't make sense. Give me Javante.
No,
Yeah.
I really like that one though. Like
Yeah,
I can't
I
talk
do too.
myself into it for my team, but I really do like Javante and the Broncos.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm a huge fan. I think he's going to do very well. The only concern that I have is them working him into the offense and not just throwing him in.
Yeah.
So that's the only concern.
and let's hope that knee holds up, because that dude is a special talent. Ethan, let's
Yeah.
switch it up. Who's your running back too?
I've got Dameon Pierce. I know going up against Baltimore is kind of tough, but he's done it once before. But I just like Dameon Pierce. So
Let me bring this to you as the resident Ravens fan of this podcast. If there's anything I'm concerned about the Ravens defense this year, is their run D and spread out personnel. The Eagles during the preseason seemed to really get with inside zone. It was just kind of abusing the D line there. I hope that's not the case, but that might be a situation.
I hope that's
for
the
you to look.
case.
Yeah, for Dameon Pierce's sake, yeah. That might be the case, and let's see how Bobby Slowick does in his first time as an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really
So-
do think that one's going to be a fun one too. Houston and Baltimore.
I'm
I mean,
excited to
all
see
these
Will
games are gonna be
Anderson.
fun. I'm excited for a few.
See,
than others, but I
Yeah.
think it'll be a fun game too.
Yeah. I'm just excited. Damian Pierce, they ran him into the ground last year. I hope they don't do it again this year. He's going to get a ton of touches, but I I hope he lasts throughout the year because
Yeah,
I love the
same
way he
here.
runs. So my RB
That
two,
man's some trend.
yeah, really, is in the same game. It is J.K. Dobbins.
I
Now I
like
know
it.
he's running in committee, but he's just an explosive runner. And
He can just do
watching
it.
him last year, he was just awesome. When he got
Yeah.
out into the open field, he just took off. And
Especially like
he even told, yeah, he even came out and said he wasn't 100% on
Yeah,
this. And you could tell that he was limping a little bit. But, I think after having the off season to rest, I think he's going to be coming back at 100% and just go off. So, yeah, that's
I
my
like
RB
that.
too.
I like that pick a lot. So we're on to wide receiver now. Ethan, who's wide receiver one for you?
The only wide receiver one, Justin Jefferson.
Nice.
I,
Enough
I mean,
said.
it's JJ. You know what I mean? Like it's JJ, and Tampa Bay. I'm not worried about that defense like I was in previous years. Um, so yeah, I'm taking JJ and Captain Kirk all the way to the moon.
Heck
Yeah,
yeah. Heck
especially
yeah.
in that matchup. Yeah.
Go Vikes.
That makes me want to kind of change it. But you know
Nope,
what? No, I'm standing firm. I'm standing firm. I'm standing
should
firm.
have done it before we
Do
started
it.
lineups like I did for my wide receiver too.
No, yeah,
Exactly.
I'm standing firm. My wide receiver one's Chris Olave.
Boo.
He's going up against Tennessee.
It's terrible.
Tennessee really hasn't addressed the corner spot. Yes, they have Christian Fulton, but
That
Caleb
is
Farr
fair.
is really their top
Yeah.
guy. I'm really actually pretty excited to see, even with the Alvin Kamara suspension, New Orleans was not afraid to target Chris Olave over and over and over again, and I want to see that happen again.
I
But
want to see. And
the only
now
thing is
he
the
has a
advantage. We,
good quarterback throwing to him. And I'm so excited to
so,
see
but
Olave
the
just
only thing,
explode from this.
only thing is we have not seen the dynamic of Derek Carr and Olave and whether or not
Yeah,
it's there.
we
Yeah,
haven't. But I still think I still think it's there, and I really do. So, um,
Potentially.
who do we have next? I my wide receiver one is Tyreek. Again, like I said, it's going to be a high scoring game between them and the Chargers, and they're going to utilize him and Waddle. So
I just love
I
Tua. Like I really like Tua.
I think
yeah,
I mean literally I don't know if y'all seen what's been going around, but everyone's been kind of taking notice of how Tua's been falling, especially if like defenses are hitting him, and like that I do believe
Yeah,
that
he's
training's
been
gonna pay
working.
off.
Yeah. Which is so
mhm.
funny that like you spend your off season training how to fall correctly. Like that's pretty hysterical to me.
Well,
Like he
literally,
needs to, but like that's pretty hysterical to me.
was it Cam or it was Cam RG3 or Lamar where they're like they spent the entire offseason. Oh, I think it was RG3. They spent the entire offseason sliding.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. RG3 was awful
Especially
about sliding.
about
Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
I mean he was it was gonna run till the wheels fall off, and unfortunately because of how crappy that field is, the wheels
They fell
tore
off
off
quickly.
very
Oh,
quickly.
they ripped off even
Yeah, they
Okay,
him and Alex
okay.
Smith played.
So
Anyways,
oh no.
going on to our wide receiver twos, Josh, who do you have?
Give me Calvin Ridley.
yeah.
I'm right there in that boat. He is my wide receiver too.
The only thing about
So
Calvin Ridley is the breakup between him and Christian Kirk because T Law
mhm.
really likes Christian Kirk.
Yeah,
That is the only thing for me.
yeah.
I think Calvin Ridley will be good, but
If anything, I think Zay Jones is who takes a
no.
a step back, and I hate it
Oh yeah,
because
yeah. I thought you meant Zay Jones is going to take from Christian Kirk. I'm like, what are you
No,
talking?
no. Like they paid Christian Kirk to be the guy, and what's crazy is that last year he was the guy,
Yeah,
and
very much so.
but so and I do think that offense is sustainable, especially with Trevor Lawrence there for multiple people to be the tops of their position, whether it's
And they
EPA.
didn't get going until late in the
Yeah,
season.
Yeah.
and that momentum carries into the next year too.
Yeah.
So that's
I
so
agree with
that's
that.
why I'm excited. And literally, you saw Christian Kirk run a route and during training camp, and then there's Calvin Ridley, and you go, "Whoa, that's different."
Yeah.
Yeah,
What?
he's got an energy this year. I don't know
Yeah,
what's going on. If it's just the fiery hate for Roger Goodell, but there's an energy that he's got
It is.
going on.
But he also
So
just needed a new
he needed a new start.
place. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. He came in at such a bad time because he came in like the slumber after the Super Bowl for the Falcons.
yeah.
And like, I don't know. I think it affected him, unfortunately. I
And,
wish he had
Mhm.
stayed in Atlanta.
and let's also just like this is a very big thing we talked about with Trey Lance, and there's a lot of players that dealt with this was the COVID year and
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
and like how much of an impact that really left on players just with how unknown things were.
Right.
Mhm.
But me, I changed mine. I had Godwin, but I like Drake London this week. I want to. There have been a lot of talk about his QB in Desmond Ritter, and
Mhm.
I don't know. I just feel like there's a lot of belief between those two. It's also a matchup pick. I think like Carolina's secondary is just bad, to put it nicely.
Yeah,
There are
that
much more colorful words that I could use to describe it and won't. Um, but I don't know. There's something special between those two. It's a good matchup. I want to
uh,
do something different.
and I'll actually take it from a different angle from you. I am deeply concerned about this Carolina O line,
Yeah.
and I think that might give some easy opportunities for Drake London, Kyle Pitts, and
Yeah,
the
just to get
Giant
some,
company.
yeah, and even Mac Hollins.
Yeah, Zeus himself, Mac Hollins.
Dude, he had to have been on something this offseason. Like my God. And he looked good though. He looked good in the
Yeah,
preseason game that they put him in. He's
no, he's looked good.
he's gonna be a nice safety net.
Yeah. All righty, guys. So those are our wide receivers. Let's go to
Linda,
tight end.
okay.
Ryan, who's your tight end pick this week?
I've got the ever so wonderful and ever so disappointing Darren Waller. I hope he doesn't disappoint me this week, but I I just like how he was used in the preseason, and I
Used
hope that carries on into the regular season because they have a hodgepodge of a wide receiving core. It is just pieced together with glue and duct tape.
and Danny
And I
Dimes.
think, and Danny Dimes. And I think the top two targets are Saquon Barkley and Darren Waller.
Yeah.
And
I
I
agree with
think
that.
that's where it's going to be. So
I don't know.
I'm leaning on Waller being
Don't sleep on Jalen
that
Ryan.
man.
No, I
Yeah,
do.
yeah, they have.
I yeah.
He's going to stretch the field for him. But I think Waller underneath is the best option for them. So yeah, so I'm going with Waller this week.
No, but that's fair enough. I like it.
All righty, Ethan, who's your flex?
Yeah, I changed mine. I am excited about Goddard,
I
but I
mean, not flex,
changed
tight end.
to Hawkinson. Um, I don't know. I just like how he's being used in Minnesota.
And he got the contract too, so
Yeah, and he
he's
got a
with
fat
them.
contract, so they obviously believe in him. Yeah, like you said, Josh, he's gonna obviously play for the team. They just paid him good,
Yeah,
really good money.
I do want to. I find this interesting, but the Minnesota Vikings have given almost 90 million to two tight ends, and I think that shouldn't go unnoticed.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I do find
Yep.
that very, very interesting.
Well,
I
and
believe,
even when KOC was with the Rams, like Higby was doing pretty good for them.
yeah,
So
and
I think that is
I take that more as McVay loving 11 personnel till the cows come home. But with KOC, I think if you're going to cut Dalvin Cook, you got to compensate somewhere else to get Alexander Madison to get the same output. So I
yeah.
do think there's going to be quite a bit of 12 personnel. So KJ Osborne could be in an interesting situation.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so my tight end, I had to switch it because I was stuck between two people. But if I think Lamar Jackson's going to be really good, I think his tight end's going to be equally as good. So I'm going to put in Mark Andrews. Yes, I know he just came back to practice, but that connection's been rock solid.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put in Mark Andrews just to complete that stack.
Yeah. No matter what, Andrews is their top passing option.
Yeah.
I mean, or top receiving option. I mean, that's hands down. So no matter who they got, OBJ or what's his name, the rookie,
Say Flowers.
they're Zay Flowers. There you go. I think
Or even
Mandrews has
Rashad
it.
Bateman.
Yeah,
Hey man,
sorry.
I
Rashad
still
Bateman has
I still
fallen by
believe
the
in
wayside.
Bateman, but man.
He's fallen by the wayside. I'm sorry. With all the hype on Zay Flowers this offseason, I don't think he's going to make much of an impact.
Wow.
Yeah. To the
So
flexes we go.
to the flexes. So just name both of them here. So you know what, Ryan, let's start with you. Who are your two flexes?
All right. So I have two pass catching running backs. We're in a PPR league, so that's kind of how I run things. So I have James Cook and Jerick McKinnon. Um, again, Jerick McKinnon because it's going to be a high powered game, and they're going to be throwing a lot. And Mahomes loved to check down to Jerick McKinnon, especially in the red zone.
Yeah.
So
I
um,
mean,
I
if
would,
Kelsey's not playing, it makes
yeah,
sense.
exactly. So they're going to use him in short yardage, and Jerick McKinnon has the speed to get that yard after catch or get those yards after the catch. James Cook, I don't know how he's going to be used in Buffalo. I really don't.
Sleeper.
If
He's
he
an
has,
unknown.
he's an unknown. He's a sleeper. Again, he is. He is such an unknown that I threw him in here because I think he's going to do well. I really do because he has command of that backfield. So it's more with a hope and a prayer that I put him in this dream lineup.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. Ethan, give me your two flexes.
Yeah, I've got Chris Olave and Antonio Gibson.
Antonio Gibson literally was this close to being a flex for me.
Yeah, he was part of
Considering he's
that.
also my actual flex for my team, I just think he's finally gonna get that chance
Yeah.
in Washington to catch the football, which is what we've been waiting for.
Yep, absolutely. 100% agree with you there.
Yeah.
I just realized that due to the sun moving positions, I am just a floating head right now.
Yep. You were born in the darkness.
You
Yep,
are the darkness.
I am. So let me give you my two flexes. I think one, I'm going to take from the same game. Instead of Antonio Gibson, I put Jahan Dotson. They're going up against the Arizona Fighting Caleb Williamses. So
Mm.
yeah, I think that one's going to look good, especially since you
It's
trade your better linebacker. That's a whole nother discussion. And
it's
then
the future. It's the future, Caleb Williams.
oh, the Arizona future Caleb Williams says, I got you.
There you go.
And then my other flex is going to be Christian Watson. I actually believe in what Jordan Love's going to be able to do, and I think Christian Watson against Chicago. I don't, I don't know if there is a corner Chicago has that can keep up with Christian Watson,
Eddie
and
Jackson.
good luck with that.
Yeah.
And But we'll see. It might have to be a Jaquan Brisker kind of situation. Maybe Kyler
Oh yeah,
Gordon
I'm
if he has
Brisker.
like the longest stride possible known to man. But I definitely know Tyreek Stevenson cannot. So I definitely think Christian Watson. It may look ugly for a bit, but once it gets going, I think it's going to look really good.
That's another game
Yeah,
that might be a good one. Washington and
yeah,
Chicago.
Green Bay and Chicago.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Green Bay and Chicago.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, gentlemen, we are here. Let fantasy football begin, everybody.
Yep, happy dream lineups.
Praise the
Happy dream
fantasy gods.
lineups. Happy week one, everybody. For coming up
Don't forget to
next.
sacrifice to the fantasy gods.
Yep. Made the fantasy football odds and gods ever be in your favor
Oh
this
my
year.
gosh.
Unless your name is Philip and Cam Akers, then no. Uh,
Or if you're the Church of ETN, then you have to be faithful.
that is true. We here are very giving members of the Church of ETN, if you
Just
haven't
everybody
noticed.
lift your hands up. All right.
Yep,
Get ready for the church choir in the background. Josh is gonna edit it in.
absolutely. I'm hearing it right now. I'm feeling ETN this year. So thank you again for everyone listening to the Last Place Fantasy Football Podcast. We have made it. Welcome to the 2023 NFL season. Coming up this week, you will actually hear from one Ethan McShane again, as he will break down the top news and injuries you need to know for week one of the NFL season and what to prepare for when it comes to starting off the fantasy year. You can find us on all platforms: Apple, Spotify, YouTube, at Last Place FP. Ethan, what do you got to tell everyone for the season starting?
Never forget.
Never forget.
Sometimes you're right. Sometimes you're Ryan.
Have a good one, everybody, and good luck to all.